we on? Are we recording?
Yeah.
Then we should probably get to the question.
Okay. What's the question of the day? Danno sent in a question, and the question
Hello.
is: can money make you happy?
This is some of Danno's work. Amazing. Amazing.
And
Anyway,
his work makes me happy.
makes me happy when I see it in this space. All right. Can money make you happy?
Yes, that's what he asked.
Can money make you happy?
Uh-huh.
Are you sure that's the question?
I can read it.
Let's get verbatim.
Verbatim.
Later.
Does money make one happy?
Does money make one happy?
I think I paraphrased that pretty well.
You said can.
Can. Does money make you happy? So the resulting money.
I mean, in my opinion, money alone.
People always say that, like, money alone doesn't make you happy.
And I started thinking about it, and like, you know what?
So, okay, but first, what is happiness? Like, what makes us happy?
Now there's the
Okay,
question.
and there's some universal in that. And so, they've done studies on this, on happiness.
Mm-hmm. I find you just asked the question, what makes us happy?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in that question is one of the problems, because nothing should make you happy, make me happy. There are things that might contribute to my happiness,
Mm-hmm.
but I think happiness comes from within. Like, I believe something in our minds or our spirit, whatever you want to call it, allows us to be happy.
Well, and I don't have any problem with the word make us to what makes me happy. I don't have any problem with that because, and not that it's dissimilar to what you're getting at, but there are moments and circumstances that bring about a feling of happiness
Giddy.
in me.
Yes.
And excitement and other, we can go through the thesaurus.
But
and the other
again,
words, but there is a combination of things that then, elicit that reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And what are those things? I mean, and yes, it comes from within, but it also, we interact with the world through our senses, and so there is that interaction that I think allows for that to surface.
Yeah, I think that's a great phrase, allows that to surface. And it depends on the individual. If those same things that you just said happen and a person was deeply depressed,
right.
I don't know.
There's no happiness.
Yeah.
There's no money.
So,
there's nothing.
I don't know. I agree with what you said, though. And I really liked how you said allows it, or, yeah. I don't know what makes, there's some sort of chemical interchange in us that
Endorphins.
endorphins and I don't know.
I hear these words. I usually think of a show tune.
Yeah. That's right. But I don't know. So can money make us happy?
But wait, I want to hear your answer too. If you were to just answer that question without dissecting the question, and I said,
what makes us happy?
yeah, or describe a moment, or however you want to answer it, describe a moment when you felt happiness. Go.
Describe a moment when I felt happy. When my first granddaughter was born, and we were in a hurry. So you have this. We get in the hospital, we get in the room, and my daughter's still there, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously. My daughter's there, and my son-in-law's there, and the baby's in a plastic bin. And there's a nurse over there, and we're talking, and everybody's fine. And I went over to the plastic bin, and I looked at her, and she was I'll never forget. She was sleeping like this, and I just thought, maybe she has a headache. That's what. And then I just got happy. I was like, I think she's just fine. And then they let me pick her up, and it took me back to when my youngest son was born, and I held him, and I was just happy. I was just super happy. I don't know. Giddy, like happy songs were playing in my head. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I felt ebullient. I felt. I don't know. I just felt relieved and release.
I wonder if that's where it comes from sometimes. There's this, like, whatever our expectations and thoughts are and the emotions that boil up, and then this moment happens, and when it produces this kind of joy feeling, that it is a bubbling up and bubbling over.
And a release.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, that's the best I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was happy. And it added. I'm sure that my wife was happy, my daughter was happy, my son-in-law was happy-ish. I'm pretty sure he was exhausted, but that added to my being happy. Almost like, hey, if everybody else is happy, I'm allowed to be really happy.
I think our energy exudes like that, right? You've been in rooms before, or when you go to a concert maybe, or whatever your thing is. Like, yeah, and this energy that is in the room. I mean, if everybody's just in this moment, it can produce all kinds of emotions,
Absolutely.
I think, but happiness being one of them. Yeah. I felt it. I mean, that's a profound moment, but I feel it in really small ways. Like, okay, of happiness, and I'm going to bring it to money a little bit, because those moments, like if you really analyze those moments of happiness, they require money. You know, I mean, there's some element
2021
of having, you know, the bin for the baby, for example, like,
or the hospital.
How about that? But like, I felt the moment. Chloe, Pixie, learned to ride a unicycle, and she got to share this at her circus camp. And I knew that she was going to do this little act. They had a performance at the end of the week that's like an hour-long performance of all these kids and what they had learned. And I knew she was going to get to do this. And so there's like this anticipation. You're there. Just the timing, like you said too. This, like, to meet up with a certain moment happening too. Like the you know, is it time to get there? And all of a sudden in the day, I remember I was working on something, and I was like, oh my God, did I lose track of time? Like, I would miss my performance.
Yeah. No, I understand.
And then I got there early enough and got a seat for Mike and I. And, you know, and then I could see her. She had this view over at the corner of a tent. She was holding on to like a pole, waiting to ride into the main, you know, performance area. And just watching her, and I could see the guy, kind of the leader of the camp, looking over her to make sure that she was ready and she was on her unicycle or whatever. And oh my God, what a feeling to watch her roll out there, and these kids were like, "Go, Pixie!" And she grabbed the guy's hands, and they did a dance together, so she could ride, you know, kind of forward, backwards, or whatever. He twirled her around just like a tango.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was amazing. But I think also it had something to do with too, like, there was these other parents, all the other kids there. There's this celebratory thing happening, and so it was also just exciting and fun.
Sure.
The whole moment.
Yeah. That at least adds to it.
Yeah, where somebody shines, where you see some shine on somebody.
So the question now is, think
We're gonna
it
get
does.
exactly
It
right.
does.
Does money make one happy?
Does it? I can't answer does it, because I'm not there to view it. So in the strict wording of that question, does it? There's no way for me to answer.
Okay, but what if if I said, Mark, you just won $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you happy immediately?
Yeah.
Like, would that?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, yes, it would. But immediately my mind went to how much after taxes and stuff like this. So yes, it would make me happy. It would also make my mind can go and continue to do so even when I'm trying to sleep.
I'm
not always the owner-operator.
Must just wake you up.
Hey, stupid, are you asleep? I was. So anyway, yes, I think I would be happy with you.
Yeah, but I would go very quickly to the stress of that.
Correct.
I don't have a real comfortable relationship with money. Meaning, like, I don't like that's how, I don't see the world in that way. But at the same time, like, I know the world. This is how we're going to all live together and live in these big societies and have, these experiences, and I want people to be valued, and this is the way we've just chosen to value things, right? And what we create and so forth. So I get it. But I also have a real uneasy relationship with it. So I would go very quick from, like, I don't think it would be happiness. I really think I would skip over from, like, shock and surprise and then go right to stress. I'm just like, and then I would feel a responsibility. Because I feel like money, it comes with a lot of responsibility. That's how I feel. And that I solely spent 15 years in finance and accounting because I chose to find a career where I just didn't have to worry about money. And I knew it would be enough to get me the basics, a roof over my head and a car and food, and that I could have a little bit extra to then travel or something. Like, that's why I did that. And, but whatever, so it would cause me stress.
Yeah, I think the stress comes for anyone. Like I said, my mind would be happy and then go to the fiduciary responsibilities, and then eventually where it would land is how many days can I get at Disneyland for this? And you laugh, but I'm really not kidding. That's where my mind would go.
Well, and if I had that much, I also think I would, because a great deal of my happiness comes from being with others, of working together with others, and sitting at tables and sharing tables with others, and, so I would get to happiness because I would probably try to employ the money to visit and be with others and find ways to connect with others.
And I think probably you would eventually end up in those things that you were talking about, the issues that are important to you that you see in the world. You can set up a foundation to help this problem or this problem. Money gives you, I know that when I was young and when I see my high school students think about a lot of money, they think about videos and hip hop and like a lot of chains and a certain car and a big old house. But the older I get, I think more of, if something like this happened, you win $1 million, you win a lottery or something, it affords you the ability to do stuff. Like, you're on Facebook and one of your students' aunt dies and they don't have any money for the funeral, so they have a GoFundMe, and you can anonymously do that. Things like that. That's what it affords, I believe. And different things too, and Disneyland, because that's a lot of money. and I want to balance that scale, and I try to balance the scale of self-care and also helping where I see problems. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Not a solid answer.
Not really, but I did say, yes, initially happiness is there. Money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you a super nice car to go look for it in.
A lot of those.